Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. A little bit cool this morning, but it should warm up in the afternoon. This is my first time back in the studio because I wasn't here Monday and Wednesday because I was creating YouTube videos on the Frozen Frenzy, which was a wow Frozen Frenzy, by the way. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. Unfortunately, my Chicago Blackhawks lost 6-3 to the Vancouver Canucks, but hey, I kind of already knew they weren't going to get the win over the Canucks because we have been doing terrible when it comes to facing Vancouver. We have lost entering that game Tuesday, we had lost 7 straight meetings against the Canucks alone. Now, after that game, it's now 8, and I don't think we face the team again until November. We faced the team 3 times this season. Of course, the first meeting was at the United Center in Chicago. The other 2 meetings are in Vancouver, and I think our next meeting against them isn't until November or December, but I'm not 100% sure. Predators came away with the 4-0 shutout win over the Boston Bruins, so that's something to look forward to for Boston Bruins fans. They are playing in action today against the Blackhawks, but yeah, just wanted to tell you guys that I wasn't here Monday and Wednesday because I was creating a preview and recap of the Frozen Frenzy, which would have taken up a lot of time in the studio. So that's why I did YouTube videos of it. But anyway, we are going to break down today's news. So let's start off with the Dallas Stars and Boston Bruins. So the Stars cruise past the Bruins with a 5-2 win. Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin, who used to play for the Boston Bruins, each had a 3-point night. Both of them had a goal and 2 assists. Mason Marchman had 2 assists for the Stars, and Casey DeSmith made 25 saves for Dallas. So ever since Casey DeSmith has signed with the Dallas Stars, his stats are looking really good so far. So congratulations to him. I just feel like Dallas was, the better team in this one tonight. The Bruins have now lost 3 straight games already. So tough luck for Boston. The Stars moved to 6-2-0 of the season, and Jason Robinson has scored in his 300 NHL games, so congrats to Robo right there. And the Stars' power play really clicked for them in this game, and this was one of the reasons why they won last night, not just because they were the better team, but also because of that power play. That power play was clicking on all cylinders for the Stars. They had scored 3 of their 5 power play goals, and that was in that second period, which they were tied for most records in the single period since the franchise moved to Dallas in 1993, because, of course, they were called the Minnesota North Stars, which they had Mike Modano on that team and a few more other players. Of course, Mike Modano was on the Dallas Stars as well, so it was from Minnesota to Dallas. And, of course, eventually he did play for the Detroit Red Wings as well, so yeah, so congratulations to the Dallas Stars. For the Bruins, David Pastrnak and Justin Brazeau scored in the win. Jeremy Swayman made 27 saves, and the Bruins moved to 3-4-1 of the season. So you can't blame Jeremy Swayman on this one. I think his game was, kind of solid, but it just feels like the Dallas Stars, better team this one. The Stars, I said it on this podcast a lot, they have a lot of depth on their team from offense and defense, so they were just a better team this one. They do return home to face the Blackhawks Saturday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, which, not going to lie, as a Blackhawks fan, I am nervous heading into that game because, like I mentioned already, the Stars are the better team. They have a great team in general. We did win one of our games last season against Dallas, but I don't know if we can pull it off in this game tomorrow when the Blackhawks go to Dallas to face the Stars, which will be the start of a 5-game road trip for them as well. Like I said, for the Bruins, they have lost 3 straight games. They were 0-2-1 during the span. They lost 2-1 in overtime to Utah Hockey Club on October 19th. Then they got shut out by the Nashville Predators on October 22nd. So that was during Frozen Frenzy Day. And then they lost 5-2 to the Dallas Stars on October 24th. So things are not going away for the Boston Bruins. So the Stars, like I mentioned, they return home to face the Blackhawks Saturday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This will be the final game of October for the team, and they don't play until Friday, November 1st against the Florida Panthers, which is the NHL Global Series in Finland. That'll be a back-to-back set, of course. First game airs at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Second game airs at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time, so both games will be on NHL Network Friday and Saturday. The Bruins, on the other hand, they will remain at home. They take on the Toronto Maple Leafs Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So two rivals once again going at it. And I don't think Boston has, nothing to worry about when it comes to facing the Maple Leafs, because in the playoffs and, of course, in the regular season, the Bruins have been dominant against the Maple Leafs. So really nothing to worry about when you're facing Toronto. And, of course, that will be the start of Hockey Night in Canada tomorrow. But for U.S. residents, if you live in the U.S., it will come on NHL Network. And, of course, if you're Canada residents, it will come on Sportsnet, because that is the Canada Network. All right, moving on to the Panthers and Rangers game. So SERGEI Bobrowsky gets win number 400 in the Panthers' 3-1 win over the New York Rangers. He made 24 saves in the game. This is the first time since the Eastern Conference Finals the Panthers and Rangers have met, and we all know how that Eastern Conference Finals turned out last season, with the Panthers beating the Rangers in 6 games, and therefore moving on to the Stanley Cup Final, facing the Edmonton Oilers, and then winning the Stanley Cup afterwards. The teams will meet 3 times this season. So, of course, yesterday was the first meeting against the New York Rangers for the Florida Panthers. The other 2 meets will be December 30th and April 14th, and both of those meets will be in Florida, so they will not be returning to Madison Square Garden after that first meet. Henrik Lundqvist accomplished the 400th win in 727 games. SERGEI Bobrovsky did it in 700 games, so gets his 400 win in 700 games, whereas Hank got it in 727 games. So fastest NHL goalie to reach 400 wins in 700 games. So congratulations to SERGEI Bobrovsky. He is also a Vezina Trophy winner as well, along with a Stanley Cup winner, of course, because he was part of that Florida Panthers Stanley Cup team, and he is the 14th NHL goalie in history to reach 400 wins. So congratulations to SERGEI Bobrovsky. For the Panthers, Anton Lundell, Carter Verhaeghe, and Sam Bennett scored for the Panthers, who are now 5-3-1 of the season. Alexis Lafreniere scored the long goal for the Rangers. That's his 4th goal of the season. And Igor Shesterkin made 25 saves for the Rangers. And Rangers' 4-game winning streak has snapped. And so did Artemi Panarin's 6-game point streak to start the season also snapped and ended. The Rangers, they are back in action at Madison Square Garden Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time to play the Anaheim Ducks, while the Panthers head to Long Island to play the New York Islanders Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Islanders are in action today against the New Jersey Devils at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, so they will be playing a back-to-back set today and tomorrow. Alexander Barkov could possibly return to the Panthers lineup in Saturday's games. He hasn't played since October 10th in the Panthers' 3-1 loss to the Ottawa Senators, and that was their 2nd game of the season. For the Panthers, this is, I believe, their 2nd game of their 3-game road trip, because yesterday they did play against the Rangers at MSG, and they play the Islanders tomorrow night, and then, of course, they have one more game after that, and that's in Finland, when they will play the Dallas Stars for the NHL Global Series. All right, Blues and Maple Leafs. So Blues scored 5 on Toronto as they win 5-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Craig Berube was going up against his former team that he coached all the way to the 2019 Stanley Cup Final, and the Blues won the Stanley Cup that year. Congratulations to them. I kind of regretted saying that as a Blackhawks fan, since we have a strong rivalry with the St. Louis Blues. But hey, it's all about sportsmanship right there. And yeah, that's why I said congratulations, but I did kind of regret that at the same time, because I really do not like the Blues. But they come away with the win in this game. Jordan Kyrou, Pavel Buchnevich each get 2 assists in the game. Dylan Holloway had a 2-goal game in the win for St. Louis. And Jordan Binnington stopped all 41 shots faced in net. And the Blues moved to 5-3-0 the season. They're 3-1-0 in their past 4 games. bad news for St. Louis. They will be without Robert Thomas in this game because he will miss at least 6 weeks after sustaining a fractured right ankle injury in the Blues' 3-2 loss to the Winnipeg Jets Tuesday during Frozen Frenzy Day. For the Leafs, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, OEL, scored the lone goal for Toronto. Of course, he is new to the Maple Leafs. He signed with the Maple Leafs in the offseason, so he was coming over from the Florida Panthers. Now he's in Toronto. He did win the Stanley Cup with the Florida Panthers, of course, so he was part of that Panthers Stanley Cup winning team against the Edmonton Oilers in the 2024 Stanley Cup Final. Joseph Wall made 22 saves in the loss for Toronto. This is his season debut after missing the first 7 games of the season due to a groin injury. And the Leafs moved to 4-4-0 of the season. Both teams are back at it Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Blues continue their 4-game road trip in Montreal as they face the Canadiens. That's part of Hockey Night in Canada tomorrow night. And the Maple Leafs, of course, head to Boston to take on the Bruins Saturday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So that will be an intriguing game to watch because it's a rivalry game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Boston Bruins. One thing to note, Blues and Leafs will be meeting Saturday, November 2nd. So the two teams just played yesterday. They will be meeting almost a week after they played. Of course, next Friday is November 1st, and then November 2nd is on Saturday. So almost a week after they played, these two teams will be back at it again, this time in St. Louis. All right, Devils, Red Wings, Patrick Kane, my favorite NHL player growing up. He scores the game-winning goal in the Red Wings' 5-3 win over the New Jersey Devils. This is the second goal of the season for Kaner. He gets a power play goal with 3 minutes and 32 seconds left in that third period. He also had an assist, which was on Dylan Larkin's power play goal on that tip in out in front. Alistair Brinkett pitched in a goal and assist for a 2-point night right there. And Lucas Raymond had 2 assists for Detroit, who are now 4-3-0 of the season. Cam Talbot made 37 saves on 40 shots faced in net. And, of course, the Red Wings have won their third straight game. And the Devils, on the other hand, their power play was clicking. Nico Hischier had 2 power play goals in the game. Eric Haller had a power play goal in the game. And one takeaway I want to say about this Devils and Red Wings game. This game was chippy. It was intense. A lot of fights in the game. Of course, a lot of forecheck on the play as well. So it was kind of a great game to watch last night. And of course, I did watch that game last night because I wanted to see if Luke Hughes was going to pitch in the goal or at least get a point since it was his first game back after a long injury. But, of course, he did not get an assist or goal, I believe. He didn't get a goal for sure because I did watch that game last night, and I don't think he got an assist as well. So he was held scoreless off the score sheet. But nonetheless, I really did enjoy the game. Kristen Fisher and Brendan Dillon got at it in the fight after Fisher had took down Dillon with a hit on the boards. I thought that was going to be a boarding penalty last night when I watched the game, but they didn't call it a boarding penalty. And then another fight featured Ben Sherratt and I'm forgetting the Devils player's name, but yeah, it was really chippy. And of course, 3 players for each team ended up in the penalty box after that fight. So the Devils got on the power play after that. They had scored. But before that, it was, like I said, Kristen Fisher and Brendan Dillon. And I think the Red Wings got awarded a power play, which led to Dylan Larkin scoring that power play goal. And Sheldon Keefe. Woo, I wouldn't want to be Sheldon Keefe last night because Sheldon Keefe was livid. He was livid. He was upset about what was happening last night. So Sheldon Keefe, of course, he's going to play some intense coaching. I think we've seen this a little bit during his time with the Toronto Maple Leafs. But, man, last night he was so livid and kind of cursing in the game as well. So he was not happy about how that game turned out for the Devils and Red Wings game last night. But Red Wings moved to 4-3-0 this season. The Devils, on the other hand, they fall to 5-4-1, I believe. 5-4-1 this season for the New Jersey Devils. And another thing that hurts is your New Jersey. You outshot the Red Wings at least twice their amount, 40-20. 40-20 in this game. So Devils outshot Red Wings 40-20 in this game. They still came up with the L. They returned home Friday to play the Islanders, so they also will be playing a back-to-back set after losing 5-3 to the Red Wings. So they look to answer back with a win on home ice against the Islanders Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Red Wings will be in Buffalo tomorrow afternoon to take on the Buffalo Sabres Saturday. So we'll see what happens in that game. Of course, that'll be a great game to watch considering Buffalo, a younger team. Red Wings looking to get back into the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I really like the matchup for both the Red Wings and the Sabres. So I'll be watching that game for sure. Luckily, the Blackhawks don't play until 7 o'clock p.m. That day, so should have time to watch that game. Okay, moving on to the Minnesota Wild and Tampa Bay Lightning. So the Minnesota Wild extend their season opening point streak to 7 games in their 4-2 win over the Lightning. They are 5-0-2 of the season, and they matched their longest point streak to start the season, which of course the last one was in the 2008-2009 NHL season. Kirill Kaprizov had 2 goals and assists for his 4th straight multi-point game. Matt Boldy had the game-winning goal in the third period. He scored 54 seconds in the third period to get a Wild a 3-2 lead. And, of course, Kirill Kaprizov. He finished the game off with an empty netter for the 4-2 final. And Marc-Andre Fleury made 22 saves in the win. And we got to give a shout-out to Marc-Andre Fleury because he dressed up as McLovin from Superbad, if you guys don't know that movie. One of my favorite movies, by the way, Superbad. He dressed up as McLovin from Superbad for a Halloween party, and that costume was like spot on. Of course, Superbad, another iconic movie, another popular movie that people should know. One of my favorite movies, by the way, and I thought that costume was like great to see. For the Lightning, Nikita Kucherov and Brandon Hagel, who had a natural hat trick in that Wild Lightning 8-5 win over the Devils Tuesday during Frozen Frenzy Day. He had a goal in this game. Tampa has now lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they fall to 4-3-0. The season is still over 500, though, so not bad. Of course, Tampa Bay, I believe, is still a good team without Steven Stamkos. So, speaking of which, the Predators played the Lightning Tuesday, October 29th. So, emotional return to Tampa for Steven Stamkos. They'll be playing a tribute as well for him. Andrei Vasilevsky made 14 saves in this game. And for the Wild, one thing that I did see in this game was the Wild, after I think Hagel scored that goal, it was either Hagel or Kucherov, because of course they had the 2 goals and the Lightning lost to the Wild. This was the first time this season the Wild have trailed. Through their first 6 games of the season, heading into this game for Thursday, they have not trailed in a game this season during their point streak heading into Thursday's game. Of course, they trailed yesterday 2-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning, though. So, yeah, made through their 6 games without trailing, but they continue their 7-game road trip in Philly Saturday against the Philadelphia Flyers at 12 o'clock p.m. Central Time, so an afternoon game right there for tomorrow. The Lightning continue their 3-game homestand against the Washington Capitals Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, which the Capitals, they picked off back-to-back wins over the Philadelphia Flyers because Tuesday they met for the Frozen Frenzy, which they won 4-1, and then Wednesday, which was the only game that came on after the Wild Frozen Frenzy Day, they won 6-3. Also, Ovechkin netted his 2nd goal of the season, which he's now up to 855 goals now. He needs a 40-goal season to break the record. So we need to see, despite his age, I think he's like 39 years old already. But despite his age, we need to see some of that prime Ovi if he wants to break the record of the great one, Wayne Gretzky, which he has 894 goals in his career. Ovi is sitting at 855, so he needs a 40-goal season to break that record. But we will see if he will score in the Capitals and Lightning game tomorrow night. All right, moving on to the Vegas Golden Knights. So Shea Theodore, he signs a 7-year contract deal with the VGK. He's the franchise leader in goals with 67 and points with 296 among defensemen. This season, he has 7 points in 6 games. 1 goal, 6 assists for 7 points in 6 games this season. Last season, he had 42 points in 47 games, so 5 goals, 37 assists for 42 points in 47 games played for Shea Theodore. He was second in games among defensemen with 450 games played. Of course, the first is Brady McNabb with 509 games played. He was drafted in the Golden Knights expansion draft. This was back in 2017 after the Pittsburgh Penguins won their second straight Stanley Cup against the Nashville Predators. So he was drafted in the Golden Knights expansion draft from the Anaheim Ducks, and he was drafted 26 overall in 2013 NHL draft by the Ducks, which he has 17 points in 53 games played with Anaheim during the from 2015 to 2017, he has 17 points in 53 games played. So 5 goals, 12 assists for 17 points in 53 games played. With the Golden Knights alone, he had 296 points in 450 games played. So 67 goals, 229 assists for 296 points in 450 games played. With the Golden Knights, he was part of that Stanley Cup team with the Golden Knights in 2023. And he had 12 assists during that run to the Stanley Cup that year in 2023, where the Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup against the Florida Panthers. So he's still one of the original misfits on the Golden Knights now, so he's hanging in there, guys. The Golden Knights are in action today against Ottawa at 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time, so they will be at home to take on the Sens, so we'll see how that game turns out. Moving on to Utah now, which was Ottawa's recent game, 4-0 shutout win over Utah. Utah Hockey Club drops their, third, fourth straight game now with a 5-1 loss to the Colorado Avalanche. For the Avs, this is their 4th straight win, so they are really having a good start, so they now reach 500 of the season. Casey Middlestat had a 3-point night, notching 1 goal and 2 assists. Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon, they extend their season opening point streak to 8 games of the season. So the big guys stepping up when you need them the most. Cale Makar had 1 goal in this game. Nathan MacKinnon had 1 assist in this game to extend their season opening point streak to 8 games. Cale Makar, he has 15 points during the streak, so 3 goals, 12 assists for 15 points during his season opening point streak. And he leads the NHL in points and, of course, defensemen in general with 15. Nathan MacKinnon, he has 13 points during his streak. So 3 goals, 10 assists for 13 points of the season. Ivan scored his first NHL goal in the 5-1 win over the Utah Hockey Club. Of course, Ivan is the first NHL player to have the first and same last name. So first, same last name for Ivan. I know that kind of sounds kind of weird. Try saying that like 10 times. Ross Colton notched his 8th goal of the season in 8 games. Bad news, though. He will leave with the game in the second period due to an upper body injury. Coach Jared Bednar said he took a slash to the hand. So, of course, bad news there for Ross Colton because he was lighting the lamp consecutively in his games. Possibly could have been a candidate for Rocco Richard, but if you had to say that around somebody else before the season had started, they would look at you crazy like, are you kidding me? Random play like this is going to win the Rocco Richard trophy. But before the injury, he has been doing well for the Colorado Avalanche. So I know it sounds hard to believe, but take a look at the stats. It'll show you. Mikko Rantanen had 2 assists in the win. Justus Annuin made 25 saves for the Colorado Avalanche, and he's just been, absolutely tremendous in that for the Avalanche during their 4-game winning streak. I did say Alexander Georgiev was the issue when they lost like 4 straight, but Avs are certainly doing well with Annuin in there. I think Georgiev had one game during the Avs 4-game winning streak. For the Utah Hockey Club, like I mentioned, they had lost like 4 of its last 5 games now. But Larson Krause scored the lone goal for Utah on that breakaway, and Carl Vermelka had 21 saves for Utah. So, of course, in this Utah Hockey Club's last game before this game Thursday, their last game was against Ottawa, which was on Frozen Frenzy Day. They had a 4-0 shutout loss, and Connor Ingram was pulled in that game, and Carl Vermelka came in. So, Coach Andre Toigi, hopefully I pronounced that last name right, he decided to put in Carl Vermelka in this game, which Utah Hockey Club, ever since their 3-game winning streak had snapped against the Devils, which was, I believe, a 3-0 shutout, it seemed like things haven't been going their way ever since then. So they fall to 4-3-1 of the season. Defenseman Maverick Lamoureux made his NHL debut with Utah. He was selected in the first round of the 2022 NHL draft by the Arizona Coyotes, when they were still called the Arizona Coyotes. He was the number 29 overall pick. He had 3 blocks, 2 assists, +1 minus, +1 in the game, and he averaged 18 minutes and 50 seconds of ice time. He was out there for 27 shifts, and he managed to get 1 shot on goal. Unfortunately, it wouldn't go in for his first NHL goal. But Utah Hockey Club is back in action Saturday against the LA Kings, so they will travel to Los Angeles to take on the Kings, who won their home opener yesterday 3-2 against the San Jose Sharks. So, of course, the Kings started out this season on a 7-game road trip, which they went 3-2 during that 7-game road trip. And now they return home Thursday to take on the Sharks, which they held on for the win 3-2 despite Mikhail Granlund scoring those 2 goals. San Jose is still the only team without a win this season. And, of course, Malcolm Celebrini is out for San Jose due to an injury, but no telling when he'll be back soon. But Kings are back in action Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. Central Time against Utah Hockey Club, while the Avs return home to take on the Senators Sunday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. All right, so the Jets, they moved to 7-0-0 of the season with a 4-3 overtime win over the Seattle Kraken. Nikolai Ehlers with the game-winning goal. He scored 1 minute and 26 seconds into overtime, and Winnipeg becomes the 5th team in the past 10 years to start a season with a 7-game winning streak. So congratulations to the Jets. They keep on winning in Winnipeg. They are back in action Saturday against the Calgary Flames, who have their season point streak ended by the Carolina Hurricanes last night, 4-2. Nino Niederreiter scored twice in the Jets' 4-3 OT win over the Kraken. Gabriel Varady had an assist in the win, and Connor Hellebuck made 29 saves in the win. And for the Kraken, Matty Beniers had 2 goals and an assist. Captain Jordan Eberle scored for Seattle, and Jared McCann, he dished out 2 assists. Joey Decore made 32 saves in the loss, which the Kraken are now 4-3-1 of the season. And like I mentioned already, the Jets, I don't know why I said the Jets. The Jets, Winnipeg Jets, they are back in action Saturday in Calgary against the Flames at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Of course, the Flames are looking for a bounce-back win over the Jets. We'll see if they can end the Jets' winning streak at 7. Whereas the Kraken will play their final game of their 5-game homestand against the Hurricanes Saturday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That will be the final game of the night. So far, Seattle is 2-1-1 of their homestand, so they look to close it out with a 3-1-1 of their homestand right there. All right, so NHL games on the slate. There's only 4 games on the slate for today. So first game that will come on will be the Ottawa Senators taking on the VGK Vegas Golden Knights at 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Both of these teams are coming off of wins. So Ottawa Senators coming off of a 4-0 shutout win over the Utah Hockey Club. Of course, the Golden Knights came off of a 5-1, 6-1 win over the LA Kings. So this was both during the Frozen Frenzy Day. They are back in action today at 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Then the New York Islanders face off against the New Jersey Devils at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Of course, the Devils are playing a back-to-back set. They lost 5-3 last night to the Detroit Red Wings. And, of course, they were to have a win back on home ice against the Islanders. Of course, Sheldon Keefe would definitely like a win in tonight's game because, like I said, he was angry and livid in last night's loss to the New Jersey Devils. And then the Nashville Predators, Chicago Blackhawks are back in action. Of course, the Predators are coming off of a 4-0 shutout win over the Boston Bruins for their first win of the season. Finally, Nashville gets that win. Blackhawks are coming off of a 6-3 loss to the Vancouver Canucks Tuesday during the Frozen Frenzy. And hopefully we have a great game against Nashville. Best of luck to Nashville. I mean, you guys know I love Nashville. I mean, they're my second favorite NHL team, but I've been a Blackhawks fan since day one. You guys know I'm a Blackhawks fan, so, I'm going to be rooting on Chicago's side right there. So hopefully the Blackhawks can come out with the win over the Nashville Predators. But nonetheless, it should be a great game. That will come on at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. This game will be on Hulu and ESPN Plus. So if you have Hulu, you should be able to watch the game. And then the final game of the night will feature the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Edmonton Oilers at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So Sidney Crosby versus Connor McDavid right there. Always a good matchup to see Sid and Connor go at it. Hockey Night in Canada games for tomorrow night will be the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on their rivals, the Boston Bruins, at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. It will air on NHL Network if you're a U.S. resident. So if you live in the U.S., it should air on NHL Network. And, of course, if you live in Canada, it's going to air on Sportsnet because that's Canada's network. St. Louis Blues will take on the Montreal Canadiens at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then there will be the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Calgary Flames at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then to kick off or to end Hockey Night in Canada for Saturday, October 26th, it will be the Pittsburgh Penguins and Vancouver Canucks coming on at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So that will be the last game of the night right there. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. Make sure you follow this podcast on all your podcast streaming platforms from Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. First time back in the studio today because I wasn't here Monday and Wednesday because I was doing videos on the Frozen Frenzy. So yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. God first, as always. Be blessed. See you guys back here Monday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.